Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Austin here from 3 Guys Tech, and as promised, here is the UX32VD upgrade video. Now for this video I have 3 main things. Now the first thing is my Samsung 830 SSD. This is the 256GB model. It runs around $200. Hopefully you can get a little cheaper on Amazon and things like that. Very fast, very reliable, good brand. Highly recommend this SSD for anything, any need basically. Great SSD, Samsung 830. And the second thing I have specifically for the UX32VD is a Mushkin 8GB RAM stick. Now currently it has 2GB on board and a 2GB RAM stick in there. We're going to take that out, put this 8 gigs and bump it up to 10GB of RAM. Might seem like overkill, but I don't think so. Now the thing about this is it has a cast latency of 11, which matches the latency of the onboard memory, so it should run a little more smoothly. You can go with faster, you can go with 10 or 9, but I'm just going to stick with 11. Also, it runs at a lower voltage. Instead of 1.5, it runs at 1.35 volts. Not sure if that's really, it's probably a negligible difference, but it's nice to know that I could be serving some power. So yeah, that's that. This will run you about 40 bucks for the RAM stick. Pretty good price for an 8 gig stick. Now the third thing you're going to need is, of course, a screwdriver set. You don't need all of these. You just need a Torx T5 to actually get into the computer. And once you're in there, you're basically just going to need a standard Phillips head screwdriver. So just 2 screwdrivers that you're really going to need, the Torx T5 and the Phillips head screwdriver. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, now first thing, we're looking at the Asus UX32VD. This is the only model of the UX line that's basically upgradable. So with this upgrade, you're going to need to make sure that you're not connected to any power. So right now we're just going to flip the PC over to its bottom side, and we're going to see that we're going to need a Torx T5 screwdriver for this. It's going to be a small star-shaped screwdriver, and you're just going to want to take off all of the screws on the underside of the computer. There are going to be 12 of those. They come off pretty easily, so that shouldn't be anything to worry about. Now, taking off the actual back shell, you're going to notice that you might have some difficulty just, taking off the case, because there is some adhesive stuck to the top side of the plate. So don't be afraid to just kind of don't rip it off, but just kind of pull it off. The adhesive is there. So now that we're into the computer, you're going to see all of the components here. What we're upgrading is the RAM and the hard drive. You don't have to worry about anything else. Alright, so moving on to the RAM stick, you're going to see that in place already is the 2 gig RAM stick that comes with the card. All you're going to need to do to take this out is pop these 2 prongs on the side and simply remove the RAM stick. I think this is the easiest upgrade. So here you can see we have our 8 gigs of RAM. What I'm doing right here is optional. You don't really have to put the foil protector on it. I just did it just to do it, honestly, just to show that you can do it if you want to. And all you have to do is simply just put the RAM stick back into place, and then you should be good from there. And just make sure to snap it down and make sure it's locked tightly in there. Alright, now the next thing we're going to need is the Phillips head screwdriver. This is a 00 head screwdriver, and we're going to need to take off the battery for this, because to access the hard drive there are 2 screws underneath the battery. So we have to just unscrew, you don't have to, just unscrew all of the battery screws and leave the battery in there. You don't have to take the battery completely out. And here you can see we have our Samsung 830 SSD ready for installation. So right here we're just going to be lifting up the battery just to try and make some space to unscrew the hard drive screws that are in there underneath the battery. And so now we can go ahead and pull out the hard drive. And here we have the Hitachi 5400 RPM 500GB hard drive. All you're going to want to do is unmount the bracket and mount them back onto the SSD. And then from there it's pretty straightforward. Just screw the brackets back on and then try and place the SSD back into the computer. Now you're going to have to again lift up the battery to try and slide it in there, because again the screws are covered by the battery. So you're going to have to lift up the battery. Make sure that you don't disconnect the speakers that are also connected to the battery. You should see where those are connected on the computer. So now that the SSD is in there, we can go ahead and put the battery cover back on and make sure that we screw in all of the screws. Alright, so now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and put the plate back on the computer, and then just put those 12 Torx screws back into the computer, and you should be done with the installation. Alright guys, so that is how you upgrade your RAM and upgrade to an SSD. That's really going to make this Zenbook fly. I think with the SSD, it's going to be one of the best, fastest ultrabooks out there. Honestly, the 5400 RPM drive didn't even belong in such a luxurious machine. And what I love about the UX32VD over the UX32A is the fact that we can do this. We can actually upgrade it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to leave them down there. I'll be answering all of them. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys found this video helpful. This definitely wasn't the easiest thing, but it's definitely not the hardest thing, and it is a doable thing. And I think that it's almost 100% necessary to make this ultrabook reach its full potential. So this has been awesome with you guys tech. Thumbs up if you guys like this video, subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and I will see you guys in my next video.